Guys, my screen is visible, right?
Yeah.
So we'll start with today's session. So yesterday we discussed about 1D array, how to initialize array, how to iterate over an array. And we also saw the basics of functions. So we'll continue on the same. Okay. We'll continue with functions today, and we'll try to cover the 2D array as well. So that in the next class, we'll start with type of variables, and then oops concept will get started. Great. So functions, just a minute. So yesterday we created a very basic function to add two values, wherein the values were hard-coded, and we were just printing the result in the same function. Though this is very simple example, but I hope that the syntax is clear to everyone. Syntax, like we need access modifier, we need return type, function name, parameters, return body, and return statement, out of which some are optional, some are mandatory to have. Okay, now having said that, we'll discuss today very basic thing and very important thing, that when I need to use return statement, when I need to use parameters, and when I need to have a return type apart from void. These are the three important concepts. If you learn this, then the function concept is clear. That will not make any issue for you in the future. So I'll tell you very briefly when you need to have return statement. First I'll tell you, and then you can note it down if you want. Whenever your function is kind of input to another function. Okay, for an example, you went to an ATM machine. Okay, you went to an ATM machine. Now, before you could withdraw the cash, you will have to enter the PIN number, isn't it? Yeah, you will have to enter the PIN number, and the PIN number verification should be success. Then only you will be allowed to withdraw the cash from the ATM machine. Now, tell me one thing. Withdrawing cash from the ATM machine and PIN verification, are these things same functionality or different functionality? Tell me. These are same functionality or different functionality, same behavior or different behavior? PIN verification and cash withdrawal, are these same action or a different action?
It's a different action.
Different action. Fine. Now, in programming, it is being said that your function should do only one thing. Only one action should be performed by a function, not more than one, ideally. Try to read about this solid principle. Solid principle. Okay, try to read about this solid principle. Okay, just read about it whenever you get time. Solid principle. So I'll tell you one thing, your function should do only one action, not more than one action. It should be the smallest action that can be performed. It should be in one function, not more than one function. Because let's say I'm creating a function, let's say I'm saying public void withdraw. And here I'm mentioning, let's say, int amount. Okay. And here I'm mentioning, let's say, int pin. First, I am doing pin verification. And then I am withdrawing the cash. How many action am I performing here in this withdraw functionality? Two different actions, isn't it? But the name can be only one thing. Now, do not do more than one action in any function. Just try to have this habit. For every smallest action that can be performed, try to have a different function. For pin verification, you should have a different function. For cash dispense, you should have a different function. To check the balance, you should have a different function. Okay, so this is clear to everyone?
Yeah.
Now, I will not keep this pin verification in the same function. What I'll do is I'll create one more function with name public bool. I'll say pin verification. Forget about this bool. We'll talk about that later. Here I'll pass the pin number and I will do the pin verification. If the pin is correct, return true, else return false. Something like this I'll create. Now understand it very carefully. Don't go into detail. It's just a kind of example. So what I'll do is we can pass pin verification as input to withdraw function. We can do that. I have mentioned here, na? I have mentioned here. Acha, you are saying pin verification method as input to withdraw function.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we can do that. We will do that. Now understand it very carefully. What I'll do inside the withdraw functionality, first I'll call this pin verification. This pin verification method will verify the pin. If the pin is correct, then only I will allow the withdraw. If pin is incorrect, I will not allow to withdraw. I'll just show a message that pin entered is incorrect. Now understand it very carefully. This withdraw functionality requires some value from this pin verification, yes or no. This withdraw function requires some value from pin verification function, yes or no. Yes, what kind of value? The withdraw function needs to understand from this pin verification whether the pin provided by the user is correct or incorrect. That information withdraw is required from pin verification method. That is the requirement of withdraw. So basically, this pin verification is acting as an input to this withdraw, or I can say that this withdraw function need some information from this pin verification method. So whenever another function needs some information from a method or a function, that method should return that particular type of value. Now, how will you tell whether the pin is correct or not? Will you return a string value? Will you return a string value from pin verification that pin is correct, pin is incorrect? Is that a correct way? Like instead of saying bool, I'll write string and I will return pin is correct. And here I'll say pin is incorrect. Is this a correct way of implementation? Why it is required? Simply pass true, simply return true and false. That's it. If true is written by pin verification, it means the pin is correct. If false is written by pin verification, it means it's incorrect, isn't it? That is a better way of implementation. Yes or no? Yes. So because as per the implementation, as per the requirement, you should define what kind of value to be returned. Now, when your function should return a value, it totally depends upon that if from that function, like right now from pin verification, some other functions need some information. And what is that other function? That other function is withdraw. So whenever from particular function, another functions require some information, some value, means another function is dependent on certain values from this function, then you'll have to return the value. This is how it should be decided whether to return a value or not. Simply, if another functions need some value, some information, from the current function that you are implementing, that the implementing method should return that kind of value. Simple. And on basis of what kind of value is to be returned, your return type should be defined. Now clear? Anybody have any question, please ask. Clear?
Yes.
Clear? This is very simple, isn't it? This is simple. It's just that you'll have to do some practice. The more you practice, you will understand the things. Sunil is saying that true false validation will be done. Of course, like how will you make sure that the pin is correct or not? You'll have to execute a database query, and on the basis of that only you'll be able to decide whether the pin is correct or not. Because the data are stored in the database. Na? So the backend developer, when implementing this function, will have to run some database query. That is the way to verify it. Data verification, anything related to data, database is involved there. Okay, fine. So what I'll do, I'll write some functions where I'll be returning values. So I'll create a new class. I'll name it as returning function with return. Okay, this is my function. I don't need this constructor right now. Okay. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll create a function, very simple function, and I'll try to make you understand how to decide like returning value is required or not. Okay. For an example, let's say what I'll do, what kind of simple. Okay. I'll create two functions here. One is print result function, and another one is even or odd. Okay. These two functions I will be creating. Now, what I want to do is understand it very carefully. I'll rename this function as a print even or odd, and this will be check even or odd. Now with the name, you can make sure that what exactly I'm going to do in these two functions. This print even or odd will just print whether a number is even or not. Just print it. But how can you print whether a number is even or odd? First, you'll have to check. First, you'll have to do some, logic, whether the number is even or odd. Very basic code you'll have to write, but you'll have to write that code to make sure that to check whether the number is even or odd. But this function, this method will not do the verification, the checking of the number. It will just print the result. To check whether a number is even or odd, we'll have to write another function. Is that clear? Now, can you tell me which function will call which function? Or I can say, I'll rephrase my word. Which function among these should return a value? First one?
Check
One.
even. Yeah.
Check even or odd will do the verification. So what will happen? I will call this function from main. First of all, what I'll do, I'll call this function from main method. And I will pass a number to this. I will pass a number to this. Whatever number I will pass, then again this print even or odd function will call this check even or odd function. And a number will be passed to this. This will do the verification. If the number is even, it will return true. If number is odd, it will return false. That's it. Very simple. So I'll implement two. So I'll say public void. Now, one thing, just make sure whenever you are writing a function, whenever you are implementing a function, always decide about the return statement at the end. Do not worry about the return statement in the beginning itself. First, write down your code and then decide whether you want to return a value from that function or not. When you are starting writing a function, just mention void as the return type initially. Forget about everything. Just write void. We'll decide about the return type for this function at the end. Don't worry about it initially. Okay. So I'll just say print even or odd. But I'll pass a number also to this function. Why? Then only now it will print whether the number that you have passed is even or odd. It requires some parameter, some input. Okay, because I don't want to hard code the value to this function. Now I want to make it parameterized so that any number I could check using this, whether the number is even or odd. Okay, now next thing. If I do two things in the same function, like I'm checking the whether number is even or odd, and I'm printing also, it will break the concept of single functionality. So what I'll do, I'll create one more function, public void check even or odd int number, and I will just write it down. Forget about the return type as of now. I will first check whether a number is even or not in this function. How can I do that? Very simple. If number, what should be the code? Modulus to equal to 0. What I'll do? I'll return something. Else, what I'll do? I'll do something. Now here comes the part to decide what to return, what kind of value to return. Should I return anything or not? Definitely I should return something out of this method, because the method print even or odd is expecting certain values from this function. Print even or odd is expecting from this function that this function will provide me and check me and tell me whether the number is even or odd. Based on that, I'll just print the information. So print even or odd dependent upon check even or odd. Print even or odd need some information from check even or odd. So as I've told you, whenever another function requires some information from the current implementation function, that current implemented function should return the value. Now, what kind of value will you return? Will you return string? That is also correct. You can do that. You can simply here say return even, or you can say return odd, and you can have string as the return type. This is also possible, but this is not the way that we do. Whenever this is correct, absolutely correct, there is no harm in that. But if you return a string, then in print even or odd, you'll have to do string comparison. First, you will check the return value from even or odd is check even or odd is even or odd. So you will have to do some string comparison. String comparison is always a costly task as compared to Boolean comparison. Boolean comparison is the fastest thing in any kind of comparison. Okay, whenever you are comparing Boolean, whether you are checking it is true or false, it will always be faster as compared to any other comparison. So ideally, instead of returning string, you should ideally return true or false. Is that clear? Anybody have any doubt? Tell me. It's clear, I hope.
Yep.
So it is just for like fast processing that we are using Boolean function. Nothing
Yeah,
else.
this is the way in IT industry, whenever these kind of comparison is happening, you will see always Boolean value returned from the method. Always. I'll
Okay.
show you the examples in string class. When we will discuss string class, I'll show you contains method is there, equals method is there. All those will return true. It will not say, yeah, equals, yes, it is equal. Content, it contains. No, it will not return something like that. It will just return true or false. That's the common nomenclature that is used in the IT industry. Comparison, you are returning certain things, whether it is this or that, then true or false.
So
Like
return
when
type will be a string or a Boolean here.
it has to be Boolean. Why? Because now you are not, remember one thing, your return type in the method signature. Method signature means this is your method signature, the signature of your function or your method. The return type that you define in the method signature depends upon what kind of value you are returning. It should not be vice versa, that I return string, so I'll have to return string only. No. What kind of return type you are going to write in the method signature should be driven by the kind of value you are returning in the body of that function. So here I am returning true and I am returning false, and I'm keeping the return type as a string. I'm getting an error. If you see, it says represents cannot implicitly convert type bool to string. What the compiler is trying to say is, look buddy, here you are returning a bool value, but your return type is a string. And in C Sharp, you cannot store Boolean values in a string. So that's why you are getting error. Because you are returning Boolean values in the method body, the return type should be matching one, compatible. It should be compatible. Clear? So instead of string, I should have bool. Clear? And in the print even or odd, I'll simply say if. I'll do one thing. Inside this function, I'll say bool result is equal to check even or odd. I'll pass the number. So what will happen? First of all, when I will call this print even or odd function in the main method, this line number 11 will get executed. When line number 11 will get executed, the execution will go to the check even or odd function. First, this verification will happen and a value will be returned. So as soon as the check even or odd method execution is done, the execution will go back to line number 11 again. Whatever value is returned from this function, true or false, that true or false will be written within this result variable. And based on that, I'll write my code. I'll say if result, I'll say print number is even. Else, I'll say, I'll copy this. Anybody have any question, please ask now.
So can we pass here directly the function in if we are declaring
Yes, we can do that. Instead of writing line number 11, we can also do something like this. This is also perfectly fine. No issues at all. No issues at all. But initially for few guys, it can be, confusing. So to make it, easy, I'm writing something like this. It's again, The more you practice, your line of code will reduce after some time. It will happen automatically.
Yeah. So one more thing, like if result we are saying only, we are not checking if it is pass or true or false. So by default, it will be like true.
No, but not it. It's not like by default. Understand it very carefully. I knew the doubt will come in line number 12. The result will be either true or false. Yes or no? The result variable will contain either true or false. Yes. Yes. Now, do I need to write something like this result equal to true? Is that required? It is not required. Why? Let me tell you. Let's say result value gets false. Okay. Result value gets false. Like you provided a number to this check even or odd function. That function returned false, and false is written within result variable. So when the execution will happen for line number 12, what actually will be passed here? If false, isn't it? Because right now the result value is, sorry, the result value is false. So in the if, what will be passed? False. And we have read about it. We have already covered it that whatever condition, whatever expression you provide in the if that expression returns false, if that condition is false, if block will not get executed. Yes or no? And what is condition? Condition is nothing but any expression whose end result is a Boolean value. Yes or no? Condition in any programming language is nothing but an expression whose end values is a Boolean value. So I'm already passing a Boolean value result. Now, because right now result contains false, my if block will not get executed, and ideally it should not be. Because if the result is false, it means the number is not even. So in that case, what should get printed? Forget about this if block. Let's say there is no if else right now. Forget about that. Let's say there is no if else. Just let me remove it. Let's say if this check even or odd function returns you false, what should you print? Number is even or number is odd? You should print only number is odd, isn't it? That's what I'm doing now. I'm just saying if result value is false, this if block will not get executed. And we know that in if else, if the if block is not executed, automatically else block will get executed and it will print number is odd. If the result value is true, which means this number provided to check even or odd is a even number, this function returns a true. And because it is true, if block will get executed and it will print number is even. Done? Clear? Any doubt now? I hope this is clear, and this is how you should do. There is no way, like I can say that if result equal to true, I can do that, but if it is not required at all, it's waste of line. Okay, got it. Now let me try to run this program. Okay, so I'll go to program.cs. I'll create object of this class and I will call this print even or odd, and I will pass a number to this function. I'll pass, let's say right now 11. Now what will happen if I don't pass any value to this function? What will happen? Why I am getting error? Why I am getting error? No method found without parameters. Basically, the error it says is, let's see, there is no argument given to that correspondent to the required formal parameter number of functions. Basically, the compiler is saying that, look, buddy, there is a print even or odd function available in that class, but that requires some parameters. And that parameter should be of type int, but you are not passing anything. So compiler cannot make any decision on its own. Okay, it cannot. It cannot. Okay, you'll have to provide the instruction. So based on your instruction, it will be done. Clear? Okay, so you'll have to pass the value. So let's say if I'm passing 11 and if I run this class, so it's saying number 11 is odd. So how the execution will happen is very simple. First of all, object of this class will be created. Then this print even or odd will be called within, and a number will be passed. Yeah, if you pass any value except int, you will get error. No, definitely you will get error. Let's say I'm passing, let's say 11.5, I will get error. Why I am getting error? Can you tell me?
So it will be a compile time error because it is expecting int value as an input.
Yes, it is expecting int value. That's fine. But why I'm not able to pass? Let's say it is expecting int value. Fine. But why this issue is coming if I'm passing double value? What is the problem with compiler? While the compiler is, screaming here.
Because data type is int and double is like consumes like it is bigger data type. That's why.
Yes, exactly. You cannot store double value in a int variable, isn't it? Yes, friend. Double to int conversion is not possible. Exactly. You cannot do that. Clear? Yes or no? Okay. Now, so how the execution will happen is very simple. First of all, this print even or odd function will be called. Inside this number variable 11 will get stored. Then this check even or odd function will be called. It will do the verification. Based on that, it will return either true or false. Right now, for number 11, it's returning false. So in this result variable, false will be stored. The if block will not get executed. Why? Because the condition is false. So the else will get executed. Clear? Okay. Now what I'm doing, I'll take the input from the console rather than hard coding this value. I will take the input at runtime from the console. This is very simple. So first of all, I'll write a message. I'll say, please enter a integer value. Okay. Now how to take input? Can anyone tell me how can we take input in C Sharp? How we used to do in Java?
Use scanner class.
Scanner class, right? Here, the console class provides you the way of providing, posting something on the console or taking input from the console. So what you'll have to do is simply say console dot read line. Console dot read line. Now, read line, if I say here, it says what it does, reads the next line of character from the standard input stream. So basically it will take the input. Okay, read line. It will take the input. And I will store it in a variable. Let's say I'll say int num is equal to this. Now I'm getting a compiled error. What error I'm getting? Just see. It says cannot implicitly convert type string to int. Basically understand one thing. Read line will always expect whatever value will be passing. Let's say you are using read line function to take input from the console. If you see, the return type of read line function is a string, isn't it? Yes or no? Yes. So read line will return you string and you are trying to store that in an int variable. Is that possible? Is that possible? No.
No.
So you'll have to explicitly convert that value to integer. Okay, that is how you'll have to do. So what I'll do, whatever value will be read from the read line function, although it will return that into, like, I will enter, let's say 10 in the console. That 10 will be written as a string 10 by this read line function. And that string 10 cannot be stored in an int variable. So what I'll do, I'll convert that explicitly to int. How can we do that in C Sharp? Now you have a convert class. So I'll say convert dot to int. Now, you can use 2 int 16, 2 int 32, 2 int 64. Okay, it's up to you to save the memory basically. So I'll be using, like, whether the int is of 16-bit or 32-bit or 64-bit, kind of depend upon the values. If the value is small, you can use 2 int value. If the value is big, you can use 2 int 32 or 2 int 64. I will be using 2 int 32 just to make sure. And I will put this inside that function. So what it will do first, as I've told you, whenever there is a equal to in any expression, always the right hand side will be executed first. So what will happen? First of all, the input will be taken from the console by this readline function. That read line will return that value, whatever you are entering in the console, to a string. Then this convert dot 2 int 32 will convert that string to a integer value, and that will be stored in the num variable, and I'll pass the num here instead of hard coding the value. Clear?
Yeah, so here we can always use 2 int 32.
You can use 2 int 16, 2 int 64 as well, depending upon the requirement. Like if the requirement that the value can be bigger as well, then go for 64 also.
Okay.
So if I run this program now, it is waiting for me to enter some value. You can see the program has not been terminated yet. So I'll enter some value, let's say 11. I'll press enter. That's it. I'll run it again. I'll enter, let's say 22. Number 22 is even. Okay. Clear? Any doubt? So this is how you should be doing it. Taking input, but practically you will never do it. Never. We never take input from console. Just because of somebody was asking how to take input, you can do that. Like same readline function can be used to get a string value from the input from the console. Then you don't need to convert it into integer or anything. By default, it returns a string value. If you want, let's say double value, then you have convert dot to double kind of functions are available in convert class. But practically we never take input from console. Never. You are never going to take console input in practical project, Selenium or any automation. Clear? This function is clear to everyone, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now I have an assignment for you guys. Okay. I'll ping in the chat. Write a function. I'll first write it down in my notepad and then I'll ping. Assignment. First question. Write a program to swap two numbers without using third Sada is asking how to create console application to get any result value in VS console. What exactly you're trying to ask? Can you speak? We can discuss this offline. You can ping me in the chat. Basically, I want to understand what exactly you want to do. Acha, how to create a console application? It's very simple, na? Go to file, create new solution. And here you can create a console application. Okay. Or what you can do, you can say, yeah, new solution is the way to create it. Okay. You'll have to create a new solution basically. Okay, what I'm trying to say, yeah, assignments. Write a program to swap two numbers without using third variable. Okay, this is very simple. I know that this is very basic, very simple, but try to attempt it. Try to attempt it. Okay. Write a program to check if a number is prime or not. Third program should be write a function get factorial of a number. Fourth program will be, because you have a whole week, you can attempt it. Write a program to reverse a number. Last, write a program to get sum of digits of a. Hope these are clear. You'll be able to do it very easily. Just try to invest some time. Try not to see Google for solutions until Friday. Until Friday has come, you have been trying since the whole week, you are not able to get the correct code, then you can go for Google. But don't go for Google today itself. Try to write your own code. You can understand what is factorial, you can understand what is exactly reversing a number, what should be the result when I'm trying to say reverse a number. But do not try to see the solution. Clear? Okay. Next thing that we are going to cover today is very important, very important. I'll show you. Call by value versus, okay, call by value. This is very important for interview as well. Okay. Do you know what is call by value and call by reference? Any idea? Any difference you know? When I say call by value, call by reference. Any idea? What is call by value? Anyone? Okay, I'll tell you. First, I'll show you the example of call by value. Okay. And then I will show you the example of call by value. And then we will, sorry, call by reference, and then we'll understand the difference. It is very important for interview. Very important. In most of the time in interview, because in Java, there is no call by reference. But in C Sharp, you have call by reference, you have call by value. So during the interview, it becomes very, very important question. And the interviewer might ask, can you show me an example to show the difference between call by value and a call by difference? So call by value and call by reference, what is the difference is very simple. In a call by value, okay, whenever you call a function, you pass some parameter. You pass the original copy of the variable in that function. But whatever action you are performing in the action will not affect the original value of the variable. What I'm trying to say, I'll show you. Okay, I'll show you. Okay, what I'll do also, I'll create a function public void, let's say double number. Okay, I'll pass some number to this function, double a number. Okay, what I'll do, whatever number you are passing, I'll say number equal to number multiply by 2. Okay, and I will print it. I'll just print it. How can I do that? I'll say number, I'll say doubled number. Okay, fine. This is a function. We'll see whether this is a call by value or not. Now, I'll create object of this class in this program.cs. Okay, what I'm doing, let's see. I have a number int num is equal to, let's say 10. Okay, num is equal to 10. Okay, so what I'll do is, before calling that double the number function, I'll print the original. I'll say original, or I'll say original value before calling the function. What is the original value? I'll just print num. Okay, then I will call that function obj dot double a number. Double a number. I'll pass this num. What it'll do? What it will do? Now this function will be called. Number will be doubled and it will be printed. And then I will again print the original value after calling the function. Let's see the output now. Let's see the output. Can you see here? Just see the output. Before calling the function, the original number was 10. Then you called that function double a number. Inside that, the doubled value is getting printed. But is that function affecting the original value? Is that happening? No. That doubled value exists only up till that function. Only in that function the value is getting changed. The value is getting changed. But original value is remaining the same, isn't it?
Can you repeat it, please?
Yeah, now understand. There is a variable num. Okay. Okay. The original value is this. Original value is 10. So you are printing the original value before calling this function. Okay. Now you are calling this original number, or a double a number function. In that function, you are passing this num variable. Now, in this function, you are trying to double the same number, isn't it? Which you are passing in the main. In the main function, when you are passing num, you are doubling that number in this function. And that doubled value will get printed. So here, because right now I'm passing 10 here, what will get printed? 20 will get printed. But tell me, is this operation, whatever you are doing in line number 9, is that changing the original value which is available here in the main function of this class? Is that getting updated? Is that
No,
happening?
value is not changed here.
Sorry, what you said?
Value is not changed here.
Value is not changed here. The value is changing only in that particular functions locally, not here. So this is an example of call by value. I'll run it again. See here. It is not this operation that you are trying to perform in this double a number function is not affecting the original value. It is just affecting the value that you have passed in that function. But original value is not getting changed. This is an example of call by value. Call by value is that kind of value where you passed a parameter, but the original value will not get affected. Is that clear?
Yes.
Now I'll show you the example of call by reference. Yeah, again this happened. Is this a bug or what? I'm not sure. I'll have to restart. Okay. No. Okay, fine. Now I'll create another function. I'll say public void double a number by. Sada is saying double number function is private. No, it's not private. It's a public function. No? Look, there is no concept of local kind of thing for a function. Function is either private, public, protected, default. And mostly we create a public. Local, static, global are a concept applied to variables. Functions are like, is that function visible to the other classes or not? That's it. Is that function accessible to other classes or not? That's it. Here, this function double a number is a public function. It's not a private one. It's not a local to the class. Although you have created that function in a class, that's fine. But you have made that, I have made that function public. How I can say that? Because the access modifier here is public. It means it is accessible to everyone, every other class. Clear? So here I'll create another function, double a number by reference. Just see, I'll write the same thing. Int num. I'll copy this code. But here I am using a keyword ref. Here I am using a keyword ref. Just see now. I'll talk about this ref keyword. Don't worry about that. I'll just talk about it. Okay, I'm using ref keyword. Rest everything is the same in both of the function. The only difference is this ref keyword. Okay, now if I go back to program.cs, now again I'm creating object of same class. I have a variable num whose original value is 10. I'm printing the original value before calling that function. This time I'm not calling double a number function. Rather, I'm calling double a number by reference. And I'm passing that num. Okay, I'm passing that num. But I'm getting error. Why I'm getting error? Because in this function you have used keyword ref. Ref keyword means reference. You are passing the address of that value variable that you are passing. I'll tell you about that, but I'll come to ref in some time. Let me first run this code and see the difference first between call by value and call by reference. I will talk about this ref keyword in detail. Don't worry about it. Now, if I run this program, Just see the output. See the output now. What is the difference this time? What is the difference this time? Original value is changed, isn't it? Original value is changed. This is an example of call by reference. This is an example of call by reference. Now, what does call by reference mean? What does call by reference mean? Call by reference means you are passing the reference of the argument to the functions rather than copy. In call by value, you just pass the copy of that argument. Like when we were calling double a number, I'll write it that also. I'll just comment it down. I'll comment this up. In this function, when you are calling a number, call by value, basically here you are using call by value concept. Call by value concept means you are passing copy of this argument of this variable. But here, when we are using call by reference concept, you are passing address of that particular variable. So basically, you are in this function, you are actually doing the change in that reference, in that memory allocation. That is the difference between call by value and call by reference. So when you use call by reference concept, the original value will be affected in the calling function. It will get affected. But in case of call by value, you just pass a copy, it will not affect the original value. Is that clear? It will not modify the original value. But in case of call by reference, the original value will be modified because you are passing reference. Reference means address. Address means you are doing the changes in that particular memory allocation that has happened for this num variable. Is that clear?
Yes.
Now, how do we use the call by reference concept? Is very simple, just by using ref keyword. Ref keyword is used for call by reference concept. Means if you want to call a function, call an argument by reference, you will have to use the keyword ref. While defining the function, while creating the function, to the parameter, if you want to call this parameter by reference, if you want to call this parameter, this argument by reference, you will have to use this ref keyword. And when you are passing the argument parameter while calling the function, again, you will have to use the ref keyword, both places, while creating the function, while calling the function, both time you'll have to use this keyword ref. And when you use the keyword ref, it means you are passing the reference of the value. Reference means actually the address you are passing. And in the called function, you are modifying the value in the address itself. So it will modify the original value. Is that clear? So sometimes it might be required where you need to use call by reference. I'll try to show the example during Selenium. Okay, but I hope the concept is clear, the difference is clear to everyone.
So when we are calling by value, so it is only creating a copy, means creating a different memory location for that value, right? And when we are calling by reference, then the original memory location is getting pointed for that.
Yes.
Okay. So it is saving memory while we are.
No, it's not saving memory. The purpose of call by reference is not to save the memory. The purpose is different. The purpose is, let's say you have a value and you want to modify the value based on some operation, some action. You want to change the original value. Then in that case, we use call by reference. Okay, now in which scenario, I'll try to figure out some examples, relevant practical example during Selenium, not right now, because right now we'll just have a dummy examples. But the purpose of call by reference is very simple. For a particular variable, a particular argument, you want to modify that argument based on some action that you perform in a method, then you use call by reference. But you want to modify the action value based on some action you are performing in a function. Because if you don't use call by reference, you use call by value. In call by value, the original value will never be updated in that function, by that function that you are calling. Because that change will be limited, will be local to that function only, right? Like the action we are performing on the number that you will be passing while calling this function, that will be till this function only. After this function, the value will again be the same because you are just passing a copy. But sometimes it might be required that, okay, you have a number and you want to modify that number, but by performing some action, by doing some logic performance, by applying some logic, you want to modify the original value itself. Then you go for call by reference. Clear? I'll show you the example during Selenium. I'll try to figure out some relevant practical example. But I hope the difference is clear. Yes. So
Yeah.
Is that like string buffering something? Yes. Okay. But there are some differences. Like in Java, there was no concept of call by reference. Theoretically, practically, there are very debate. It is a very debatable topic in Java. Whether in Java call by reference is there or not, just Google it. Call by reference in Java, you will see a number of different answers to that. Some says there is call by reference. I can show you. Some will say there is no. It's very debatable. But here it's clear there is a call by reference. Because you are modifying the actual memory allocation value just by using ref keyword. Okay, but make sure that when you are trying to use call by reference, you are using ref keyword both while creating the function and while calling the function. Otherwise, that argument will not be passed as a reference. It will be passed as a copy. Okay, and it will not modify the original argument. Is that clear? Got it? So that is function. Now we are going to write functions in all the classes now, from now onwards. Okay, we will create function in all the classes. Okay, so you practice. Okay, so one thing I want to share with you guys, just a minute.
So just one question regarding this reference. So it's like when we have created a code and we are using that function as we are passing by value in some other functions, and later on, after some time, we try to change the original function value. So how is it achieved? Like somewhere earlier it was used as a function by value, and now we want to use it as a function. We want to use it as a reference. So is that
Actually,
achieved?
you are applying the call by reference and call by value concept here, not in the main method. Here you are applying the call by value. Here you are calling this argument by value. Here you are calling that value by reference. Reference means and value means here copy of that value is passed here. A copy, an image. It is not the actual address where that particular value is stored, which you have created in the main function. You are just passing a copy of that, image of that. That image will be not that image that you are performing the operation here. You are not performing the operation on the original value in this double a number function. You are just mimicking the value and just you are working on that image value, copy of that value. But in this double and number by reference, you are passing the reference of that value in the main function while calling. So here you are passing the reference, you are calling the by reference. By reference means you are actually passing the address of the memory that has allocated for the value that you have created in the main function. So you are actually working on that value, memory allocation only. So when you actually work on the object, the original value will be affected. So here you are, using the concepts of call by value and call by reference. Here there is nothing. You're just calling a function. That's it. But when I say call by value and call by reference, what does it mean? Here you are just calling the value by, you're calling by value. You're calling this argument just by value. A copy you are calling. Here you are calling the reference of the value. Is that clear? So here the original value will be modified in this function. Here the original value will not be affected. Clear? Okay. One more thing.
Okay.
Okay. Having said that, come back to the topic. So now in the next class, what I want to start is type of variables, where I will be discussing about local, global, static variable, static functions, non-static functions, their behavior, and then OOPS concept will be started. Today I'll stop here because I'm not feeling that well. I wanted to cancel this class, but I tried to cover the function concept. One thing is pending, which is 2D array, which I'll try to cover in next class. Array is not completed, 2D array is pending. So I'll do that in next class. Today I'm not feeling well. I had fever yesterday. Just took the class just to make sure that we have something for today as well. So I'll do that. The next class I'll have a 2 or at least 2 hour session. But that's for today. I'll take a break for some time now. Okay. Anyway, having said that, I hope this was fruitful. Now, whatever assignment I have provided to you guys, just can someone ping in the group, WhatsApp group? Okay, so that everybody get it. So try to do these assignments. These are very simple, but believe me, during interview, you will get stuck sometimes while writing a function to sharp two numbers. It has happened with me. It happens with many people out of nervousness. That's it. These are very basic functions, but these are asked in the interview. If you have 3-4 years of experience, this will be asked. Okay. Do not take anything light. Everything is important in life. Nothing is very simple. It's not complex, but you should perform it. Yeah. Any question?
Yeah, when can we discuss those first assignment actually?
Yeah. I will discuss that in WhatsApp group.
Okay, fine. Thanks.
Okay. I'll do that. I'll try to discuss that in WhatsApp group.
Yeah, and another thing, like, can you suggest some a good channel or link where we can do some good practice related to the topics we are covering?
Oh, just a minute. There was a channel website, C Sharp practice. Edabit. Okay. Edabit is a very, very good website initially to start your progress. It supports multiple languages, Java, JavaScript. Like there is a hacker rank as well. You can go for hacker rank as well, or you can go for Edabit. It supports multiple languages. If you let's say select C Sharp, then you have level of questions: easy, very easy, medium, hard, very hard, expert kind of things. Like I say, select very easy, then you get these problems here. Like you get the problem here. Okay, and you can write the code here, and you'll have to sign in to get the solution. So you can use this website. This is a very good website. Okay, or you can go for hacker rank as well. Hacker rank also is very good thing. In hacker rank you will get the solutions there in the discussion tab. So you can use any of the good website. Edabit is fine. I have used it during Java learning. So that's it for today. Sorry for making this class short, but I hope next class I'll cover up the thing. Okay, so thank you guys. Try to do the practice, ask the doubts if you have. Just make sure that before coming to next session you do these assignments. Okay, so we'll meet in the next class, same time, 8 a.m. IST, and we'll learn new things. And soon I'll try to share the link as well, which I have promised you guys over the WhatsApp group. Okay, Thank you guys. Take care. Goodbye. We'll meet in next Saturday.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.